spending and services activity, and that's still a good story overall. There could be some spillovers to regional economies, which I think could present some opportunities as well. So those are the kinds of things we're exploring here in China and the broader Asia space.
And Inda, thanks for joining us. Inda Mitra, there, head of Asia Macro and Investment Strategy at BNY Mellon Investment Management, joining us from Singapore. We got plenty more ahead. This is Bloomberg. Here's your latest business flash headlines. Sinopec and Total Energies are said to be in talks with Saudi Aramco to invest in its Jafurah gas development. Sources say plans may include the construction of facilities to export the fuel as liquefied natural gas. We're told Aramco is seeking to raise a total of around $10 billion for the projects. Investment bank Evercore is advising Aramco on the plans. AMD shares fell in late trade on a lackluster sales forecast for the current period as it struggles to bounce back from a severe PC slowdown. The second largest maker of computer processors expects revenue to be around $5.3 billion, while the average estimate was $5.5 billion. AMD sees better times coming in the latter months of 2023, echoing rival Intel's stance. Starbucks posted a sales beat on strong performances in the U.S. and China, but that wasn't enough to satisfy investors following a 15% run-up in the stock price this year. Comparable sales rose 11% in the first quarter, beating a forecast of 7.3%. The results underscore consumers' resilience in paying higher prices for discretionary items like oat milk lattes.
Do you like
Gotta
those?
love them. Those are my favorite.
Let's look at some of these companies which have been making waves as they come out with their earnings. Of course, we saw what happened with HSBC, which got a lift up yesterday after the announcement of that share buyback, plus possibly a special dividend as it shores up its defences against Ping An's attempts to try and split off its Asian arm. Yum China adjusted earnings per share for the first quarter beat estimates. Now, Kakao Games, what happened here? Well, it saw its first quarter net profit tumble 85%. It was down to an account loss from its investment in a local developer, so 3.4% down. Kakao Bank there than anticipated. Up next, we're going to be live at the Macquarie Australia Conference, having a look at rare earths. Normally we'd be marking Japan's going off for its lunch break, public holiday there today, no treasury trading, and of course it is Constitutional Memorial Day as part of that Golden Week holiday. Right, let's move things along though and have a look at the first word news headlines, and starting things off with the Fed's policy edition, because ahead of it, data came out showing vacancies at US employers fell in March by more than forecast. This is as layoffs jumped, and that indicates a softening labour demand market. The number of available positions decreased for a third straight month to just shy of 9.6 million from nearly 10 million in February. Layoffs jumping to the highest level since December of 2020, and with quit rates falling to their lowest in 2 years. US House Democrats have come up with a workaround that could speed up a vote on increasing the debt ceiling. The procedural move forces a floor vote on a placeholder bill, which could then be amended to increase the debt limit. Support would be needed from at least 5 Republicans in order to pass the House with a majority. It comes as Treasury Chief Janet Yellen warns the US could risk default as soon as June. US Vice President Kamala Harris will meet with the CEOs from Alphabet, Microsoft, OpenAI, and Anthropic to discuss generative artificial intelligence. The White House says officials plan to tell the companies they have a responsibility to mitigate potential harm from the technology. An invitation to Thursday's meeting obtained by Bloomberg says the administration is seeking a frank discussion with the corporate leaders. Soccer or football's world governing bodies threatening not to televise July's Women's World Cup in 5 major European countries. Australia and New Zealand host the tournament. FIFA says bids from broadcasters in Italy, Germany, France, and the UK and Spain are very disappointing and unacceptable. The popularity of the women's game is surging, but the time zone difference with the Southern Hemisphere is worrying European broadcasters. That's your first word news.
Let's go back live to the Macquarie Australia conference happening in Sydney, where our Daybreak Asia co-anchor Heidi Stroud-Watts is standing by with our next guest. Hey, Heidi.
Yvonne, really great to be here with you. And joining us now is the largest producer outside of China when it comes to rare earths. These are, of course, elements crucial to the making of everything from your smartphones to your EVs. Amanda Lacaze is the CEO and Managing Director of Lynas Rare Earths. And it's always such a pleasure to chat with you guys. And, you know, this is such a specific and exciting field that you guys operate in, especially being part of that supply chain that is outside of China. Can you give us, first off, just an indication of what demand and supply is looking like right now?
Yeah, actually, demand. Hello, Heidi. It's good to be here, and the demand side is very strong, both in terms of the trend over time, but also right now, particularly, we primarily sell into outside China markets. Inside China is maybe a little softer than it's been previously, as they're still coming out of the pandemic, but outside China demand is very strong, and we see this continuing to grow. You know, as we embark on, as a globe, the energy transition, it needs, you know, sort of trillions of dollars of new minerals, and rare earths are a key part of that.
Well, I suppose a question that we can't keep coming back to is there going to be enough when it comes to production, particularly if you layer